Welcome everybody at Farmington to Getting Started with Canva for Education. I'm really excited to be here with you all just to share just what we can do and create in Canva and also empower our students to do as well. So using the Zoom chat, I would love for you to share your role in education and just how familiar you are with Canva currently using this scale. And being a getting started session, most people are going to be around a 1, 2, sometimes a 3. So we have some 3rd grade. I taught 4th grade for many years and also 2nd grade. Okay, lots of 3rd grade. Okay, feel free to continue to add that in there. And I think everybody will walk away, no matter where you fall on the scale, you'll walk away with a little bit of something today from learning from Canva. So I am your Canva learning consultant, Liz Bostwick. I've taught 16 years in the classroom, teaching 2nd grade and 4th grade, and then working as a technology integration specialist with grades K through 12 teachers and students. Last year, I began working a little bit with Canva part-time, and then this year I moved to a full-time role with Canva just because I feel so driven about all of the work that we're doing. We're really working with districts around the world to empower learning and create more authentic and meaningful experiences. I'm also the author of Take the Leap, Ignite a Culture of Innovation, published through Dave Burgess Consulting and George Couros' division of IM Press. And with the work that I do of my own, combined with the work that I'm doing with Canva, it's just a really beautiful opportunity to partner with Canva to spark creativity and joy in the classroom, and of course, create those meaningful and authentic learning experiences that our kids want to be a part of. You can connect with me on social media, and you can always use the hashtag of Canva Love or anything you see here. We're always sharing out on Canva. We love to celebrate the work our districts are doing. And remember, so many of our community members, they can't see the amazing work that's happening in the classroom. So anytime we can amplify the amazing work you're doing, we always want to. So some of the things we'll do today, we are going to hit on what is Canva for Education, what you can do in it. I will bump out of the presentation because I am presenting through Canva right now, and we'll do a homepage walkthrough as well as an editor walkthrough, and we'll have a Q&A time. So Canva for Education, for those of us, especially here today, that are new to Canva, Canva is a visual communications platform. Canva is a company that's been around since at least 2013, and Canva was created for businesses and entrepreneurs. So you can create anything in here, from presentations to posters to videos, infographics, and more. And you have all of these templates at your fingertips that you get to customize, but you can also start from scratch if you wanted to. So this is like a creator's dream. It also makes us more efficient. And sometimes we'll see things online and teachers will purchase things, but sometimes they don't know the products we might purchase. If it's not directly connected to our curriculum, they might not always have the meat to it, or they may not be personalized to our students. So Canva allows you to do all of that. Now, Canva has been around for a long time, and it's widely used across all industries around the world. In fact, just the other day, I saw on LinkedIn that USA Today uses Canva for their media. So Canva for Education was created free for educators. So even though the product Canva is a paid for product by many people, I myself still have a paid for Canva account for my own personal business. But for educators, Canva created it so that all of the pro features are given to educators and students for free. And that's because at Canva, if you learn more about the company, they do a lot of good. In fact, their motto is to be a force for good. So Canva believes that education is a human right, and the goal is really to empower the world to design and create. So in the chat, if you know anything that you want to share about Canva and what you think makes it different for you or students, feel free to add that in. I'm going to continue along, but feel free to just participate and add any thoughts in along the way. One thing that we know at Canva is that when students are leveraging Canva, the skills that they learn really transcend the K-12 landscape. So ultimately, as our goal of educators, yes, it's to help our kids be successful in the here and now, but we're also scaffolding those skills so they are successful in their future. And Canva is one of those tools that's so widely used that it's likely you're going to see them using it no matter what they choose to do after high school. So getting them to use it in school now is going to deepen engagement, and it's going to empower learning and spark some intrinsic motivation that makes kids want to be creators. What can you do in Canva? Some of the things that educators can do in Canva is, of course, create numerous teaching resources. So here you can see there are worksheets, posters, and more. Anything in Canva, and I will hit on this and do a demo, but you can download and print. But the beauty of Canva is that even if you were to take a basic worksheet, and if we take this one here on measuring, you could embed a little video that gives a tutorial on how to measure, right? Because sometimes kids can get stuck with the rulers with fourths and eighths and halves, and it can be very, that concept can be tricky, but you could include a little video. Students can also have links in here that take them to other activities just to deepen the understanding. So you can hyperlink, you can add videos and more. So these are just some of the templates that you'll find for teaching resources. There's also opportunities for in-class collaboration. So anything you see here can be used for collaboration. Teachers have used it to collaborate with one another, and we've also had students use it as a whole class or in small groups. Of course, anytime you're using a new technology resource with students, it's ideal to start with a small group first. And my favorite way to use Canva is to have students demonstrate their understanding. I spent a lot of time with the districts I supported last year, working directly in classrooms, helping teachers leverage Canva in their classrooms. Students created everything from infographics. We did a lot of explainer videos. In fact, we used the video feature to create insect research projects to show their understanding. And that was with second graders. And so it was neat because the teachers still had the paper pencil graphic organizer. They still planned out their entire research project, but they were able to bring in all of the elements that are built into Canva, which I'll hit on soon. And they could even bring in videos that were already provided. So let's bump out of here, and I'm going to do just a real quick Canva homepage walkthrough. So our homepage of Canva is going to be an important place because it's really where you're going to organize your materials. So we'll go into that. Okay, so welcome to the Canva homepage. When you're here at the Canva homepage, you can see that you will be greeted by your Canva work suite. This work suite has tabs that will help you to navigate to whatever it is that you want to create. An example of that is if I click on the presentation tab, I can now scroll down. I'm going to see everything that connects to presentations. So that's just a nice organizational feature if that's what you're looking for. We'll soon have Canva Docs. So if you're accustomed to using a Word document or a Google Doc, you'll then have Canva Docs too. So they're going to be really great, really functional. So I'm excited about that. But anytime you want to search to create in Canva, you have two options. You can start here at the search bar, or you can come up to the purple button. I'm going to just do a quick little demo of what it's like to search for a newsletter. You can see I just generated over 3,494 newsletter templates. That might seem a little overwhelming to some. So remember that you can go through and you can filter anything that you're looking for. And I have a lot of third grade teachers in the classroom. So if I clicked education, you're going to see a lot of these will have more of a primary vibe to them. So you can select anything from here. And the minute you click on it, you now have any of your customization features at your fingertips in the editor. So we'll return to this in just a bit. Going back to my home, so I'm going to click on the word Canva to bring me back to my home. And the other option I have is to go to my purple button to create a design. I can scroll and see anything here. I can also type in the search. You can choose a custom size. So if you have something you want to make and you know how it's going to print out or how to embed it into a site, you might want that option. You also have the option here to import a file. What's nice about this is that you can import directly from your computer, But you could also import any PDF and make it completely customizable. So if you have a PDF and you think it's uneditable, you can toss that idea out the window, because in Canva, you can bring in any PDF. You can change the text, the font, the graphics. You can delete the graphics and add new ones in. It's a great way to bring older resources to life, or to take something you already have and really tailor it to your learners. All right, so I'm in my purple button. I'm going to come down to newsletter. And when I select this from this option, notice how I didn't get that big template library like the first search bar, but instead what happened is it opened me up to the editor, and now my newsletters will fall to the left-hand side. So everything's over there, but this is my editing mode. So those are 2 ways that we can go to create a design. Actually, 3 ways. 1, 2, you can even start at your work suite. So I am going to spend a little bit of time here in the organizational part. Under our folder tab where it says projects, this is something we definitely want to be mindful of. I'll let you guys in on a little secret. Years ago, I started using Canva in 2014. I think it released in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. When I started in Canva, I thought, I'm just going to make a couple social media graphics. That'll be good. Well, before you knew it, I had social media graphics, and then I had a resume, then I had blog posts, and I had so many files in here, and I don't know why, but I didn't create folders. Now, I was a classroom teacher. I had my big metal filing cabinet in my classroom. I would pull out the drawers, and I had my labeled manila folders. So why I wasn't using in here my folders is beyond me. So my personal account for my business is still getting organized, but this one, where my Canva Learning Consultant account, is much nicer. So when you look here at my projects, you can see that I can toggle over to my tabs. I have everything's going to populate, and the way that this will break down, if you're selecting on all, it's going to break it down with any of your recent designs. It's also going to then show you any folder that you created. So you can see lots of folders. I'm doing a great job now organizing myself. And then down below, you'll see your designs. So here's what I mean by that, why the folders are really important. And I'll show you in just a second how to create one. So it's fine to see your recent designs. So that's kind of like they'll show up based on when you created them. But if I didn't have folders, and if I never used my folders, all of my designs would just land under designs. The problem with that is that it almost makes it impossible to find something. And when you begin using Canva, you might think you'll just make a couple of things, but before you know it, you'll have 50, 60, 100 designs. And it's nice because Canva will give you like little badges every so often, or like certificates that will celebrate, like you've reached 100 designs or 200 and so on. So if I don't use folders, everything is just going to land down here, and it's going to be a never ending scrolling. It would almost be like if your students didn't hand things in baskets, or however they hand it in, or through your learning management system. And if they put everything in one place, we wouldn't want that. So we can come up here and choose to add a folder. So if I click to add a new folder, I can name my folder anything I want. So for example, let's say I named it ELA theme. So theme is one of our standards to help kids understand this theme of the story. So we can have that as a folder, so I can land all of my ELA materials in here. When I'm here in this folder, it's nice too, because I can also add subfolders here. So if I might have theme, but I might have theme as it progresses through the school year. It might be pertaining to different books we're reading, maybe just different theme activities. So you can come in here and create folders. You can also, you'll see that same create a design, it'll be here too. If you select this create design while open in the folder, that design will now live directly here. You also have the option to come in here and upload. So just like we talked about, you can upload anything from your device, but you can also import from an app. So if you have resources living in a Google Drive or a OneDrive, you can easily import and then edit anything straight through Canva. So another thing I do want to hit on in here is that anything you create in Canva is private just to you. However, I don't know about you guys in the room, but when I taught 4th grade and 2nd grade, I was on highly collaborative teams. Thank goodness, because it made all of our lives better. We'd all break up tasks. We'd take on different things. We shared every single resource, making all of our lives easier. So keep in mind that if you have a folder, you can invite people to this folder. So if I wanted my teammates, so if I wanted Amy, she's one of my teammates here at Canva. And so if I wanted Amy to have access to my folder so that we could share this folder, I can add her to it. Now, if Amy's added to the folder, she can now see anything I add to this folder. So that's an option you have. There may be things you want to keep personal to yourself, but just know that you can share with teachers. So I will go into the sharing of like who can edit versus view or comment. I will hit on that in just a bit. So in here in our projects, a couple things before we move on. You can do a drop down so I can find all of my projects. If I wanted just my own projects, so these are mine, nobody else has access to these, I can select my projects. Well, I may have shared them with other people, but if I select shared with you, now I'm going to see anything that has been shared by somebody else. So you can see that I have teammates that have shared things with me here. And so I can see anything that's been shared with me by somebody else. So that's really helpful. So you can sort however you want here anytime you're looking through your projects. But aside from creating a design and knowing where you go to create, the projects is going to be your next place that you'd spend a good chunk of time. Okay. So we're back at our homepage, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive back into our presentation, and now we're going to go into an editor basics. So let's see Canva in action. And remember to drop any questions in the chat. I will be checking that periodically as well. So here I am. I am in my Canva editor right now, and you can see I have a presentation size slide. So this is a 16 by 9. It would be the same as a Google slide or a PowerPoint. You're going to notice two things here. I'm going to have a left toolbar. And in this introductory session, we really hit on just the first 4 tabs, but I'm going to show you how to bring new tabs in this session as well today. So we're going to do a couple things that just to make sure you guys are set up. So we have templates, elements, uploads, and text. The one thing that I'll say about Canva is that it's highly intuitive. When I've worked with students in primary, I actually used inquiry to get them started. I did not do direct instruction of here's how you do this. With our students, I just wanted to do a test. So we've done it a couple different ways just to kind of see what that would be like. But with a group of second graders, I said, what do you think I'm going to find under the templates? And you guys know it just as well. We're going to find the templates. Same thing, elements, it's where we're going to find all of our graphics and more. So whatever the tab says, it's what it does. So let's go through here. I'm just going to do a quick little demo. I'm going to take this slide for now. You'll notice that in our templates, because I'm in a presentation sized slide deck right now, it's going to give me all types of different presentations. And if I hover over them, you'll see that there are sometimes anywhere from, it might be just 2 slides. Sometimes there might be 15 different slides. And these slides will be pre-designed for you, but you get to edit and customize them. You can change the colors. At the bottom, it will give you the template style and also the text combination or the font combination and how they paired that. So I just have one here on fun facts about me. Before I go into the demo, I also want to just draw your attention that you, aside from the templates, if you toggle, if you can see where my mouse is, if I toggle over to layouts, this is where if you're building more of a presentation and you want various layout slides, you'll find a wide collection of template slides, and it honestly will just keep scrolling. So, and any of these are customizable as well. You can change the colors, the font, you can add new things in. It's actually really fun to use if you like creating. Okay, so here we are on our slide. So I'm going to hit on the next 3 tabs, and then I'm going to go over what we call our tap toolbar. Before we go to our tap toolbar, I'm going to take you to our elements. Our elements tab is where we're going to find any of our images, graphics, video, audio, you name it. So when I select elements to begin with, you will see that there's lots of options. So you can always search like this. For me, I typically just type something in. So I'm going to type in, today I'm going to choose pizza. So you can go to all things So again, anything in Canva is almost always going to toggle. So you can always narrow that search. So you can see anything pertaining to pizza just populated. If I go to my graphics, I can find now graphics of pizza. I can also go to photos of pizza. The videos, if you hover over them, you'll get like a little preview. Is that pizza with an egg on it? That's different. Interesting. And then of course, we even have different audios. You might find restaurant pizza and ambiance. So you might find some different things in there as well. There's all types of audio. The wonderful thing when it comes to Canva is that if your students are creating, you know that you're not sending them off to Google. You don't have to worry about privacy. You're not worrying about copyright. Everything is built in here for them. I worked with elementary students last year too on creating their own restaurants, their own menus. And so it was neat that they could pull in their own menu items. They had food pictures and more. So let's just select one here. I'm going to add this in and I'm just going to slide it into my frame. If you don't like how it slides in, you can double click it and slide it to be exactly where you want. And if I were to delete these pictures, you'll notice that we have just like a background in here. And what these are called are frames. They're also going to be found under your elements. And frames are what will allow your picture to take the shape of your picture, or video will take the shape of the frame. So I'll just do a little demo of that. So there's another one. So a couple things about me. I do like pizza. I'm going to move away from my elements. I'm going to move down to uploads. And I will share, we do have 3 dogs. I'm just going to pop one in now. So there's Miss Nala. She's a sheepadoodle. 14 months and still a bit of a handful at times. And then we'll find, let's do one of our family pictures for now. So there we go. Our son's in his freshman year at college this year, so we'll add that in as well. So just a few things here about me. So what I did here, I hit on templates, elements, uploads, and text would be the next one down. Text is pretty simple because you're just going to select heading, and the minute you click it, it will land on your page. If you want a text box, that will also just land on your page. And of course, you can edit from there. I just want to return to uploads for a second because the one thing that I didn't hit on yet was the fact I went and grabbed from my uploads, but I do want to just hit on that to upload to begin with. You do need to select upload files and where you want to. So if you have a OneDrive or a Google Drive connected, or you have things on your computer, you can upload anything from here. And then there is a record yourself option. Now, this button for record yourself will only show under certain media types. So a talking presentation is something you can create in Canva. I'm going to do a quick little demo of how that works. My recording studio just opened. On my screen, you'll see me in a little circle because I've uploaded my photo to my Canva profile. If you don't have a photo uploaded, it would just show initials. I could choose to turn my camera on. Right now, my camera is being used by Zoom, so it's not going to allow me to. So I'm just going to do a quick recording. One of my favorite foods is pizza. We actually have 3 dogs, but this is my one dog, Nala. And our firstborn child just started his freshman year in college, and our youngest is a sophomore and just wrapped up his football season. Now, just for the sake of a demo, if I hit my arrow over, I can just continue recording. On this screen here, which I will enlarge in just a second, but you'll see all the different variety of creations that you can make right here in Canva. I'm going to just select Done. At the top, I'm now going to select Save and Exit. And now these 2 videos are actually uploading in my files, but notice that they will land on the page. So these videos will live over here. So if I ever wanted to add these videos to another project, that's how I do it. So you can bring video into any other file. So I would have to come here to record myself. But if I wanted to add my own recording to another document, just remember, you just open the other document and then bring the recording in from there. Now I can make this smaller. So if I don't want to see my icon, the other thing is, even if I left it bigger, stuck. And let's say I put it right here on top of the pizza. I can choose to click position and send it back. And now you can't even see the recording, but it will automatically play. Let me show you that. One of my favorite foods is pizza. We actually have 3 dogs, but this is my one dog, Nala. And normally that recording would autoplay, so it didn't at that time. I did end up clicking it, but typically it autoplays when I click present. Oh, you know why? Because I opened to this page. I bet if I opened to the page prior to and then hit my arrow, it would have. And same thing over here. You can see that that little video icon landed here too. This is a great way if you're having students demonstrate their learning, summarize anything. It just lets them add that voiceover feature. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Okay, so that is one of my favorite features in Canva. So just going back to our demo real quick before I send it to you guys, a couple things that you'll want to know too is that when we just hit on those first 4 tabs here, and I will return to that in a second. But when you're talking about your top toolbar, I just want you to watch this top toolbar for a second and watch how it changes if I click the text versus if I click the background. Whatever you click on is going to change that toolbar so you can modify whatever it is that you clicked on. So if I want to click the text, I'm going to click the text, and now I have my option to control what font I have, what size I want it, and even what color I want it to be. I also have other things, like if I want to alignment, left, right, or center. You've got bullets and numbering. Any of your effects, we don't really go into in an intro session so much, but just know that there's some features here you can play with if you want. So you could do some page animations too, just to kind of make things liven it up. That's one of my favorite ones. So there's lots of different things you can play with in here too. I think we may have a question. Time limit on the recordings, that's not something I'm aware of. I'm recording in Zoom right now, but I actually bring all my recordings into Canva, and some are anywhere from an hour or more, and I've never had an issue with time limit. So let's see. And also, if you upload something from your Google Drive and edit and change it to Canva, it will remain the same in your Google Drive. So that's a good thing to know, that you can bring it into Canva, but it's like bringing a copy in, and then you could share it back to your Google Drive. So you're not editing the same thing. That's a great question. And then I will hit on groups in just a second too when it comes to the class. So one thing I do want, before I go, well, let me finish up with just this part and then I'll move on to that. So I kind of hit on the text, and when it comes to the background, just know that you can change color in here to anything you want. Any of these little details, these are your elements. You can also modify those. So the pencil here too, if I wanted my pencil to also be green. So you can make all of the changes that you wish to really adjust anything. And of course, any of the text here. So you can add anything, you can adjust. So it's very intuitive. And so I'm not going to go too far with all of that. I do want you to know that up at the top, this is where you're going to have your option to hyperlink anything. So I can hyperlink to my text. I can hyperlink if I had a video of my dog created in Canva, I could share a link, paste it in here, and then I could have my students click this and see a video if I wanted to. I do want to circle back before I go any further with you guys, going back to that home page. So we don't load a class into Canva. We do always highly encourage that you use your learning management and integration that you have with your district. And if you want to remind me of that, of what your learning management system is, that would be helpful too. So feel free to add that in. But what we can do in here is if you come up here to your account settings, you can come in and you can create a group. So you can see here that you can create groups right in here. And once you have a group, if I wanted to add all of my team members, this is a great way to share to this group. Now, although you could do this with your students, it's ideal to use your learning management system, and Canvas has one of the better integrations with Canva. So you'd want to be using Canva through Canvas. So anytime you wanted your students to create in Canva, I would highly recommend your students are already rostered in Canvas. So that's the best route to go. The groups here, although you could use it with students, is more so if you're collaborating with your team. So that's kind of the recommendation, with the understanding of knowing that Canva always makes adjustments. We've had a lot of questions recently around creating classes, creating groups, teams, and we've heard a lot of feedback that teachers oftentimes want those classes right here in Canva. So we have yet to see where the journey will go. At Canva's big event back, I think it was in September, they did announce that they're only 1% of the way to their vision of their final product. So I think we have a lot of things yet to be seen with Canva. So you can see on this screen, this gives you an idea of all the different things you could create in Canva. I've worked with students in lots of these things, and I'm excited for you guys to start using with students too. But we've also had people create gift certificates, coupons, bookmarks. Even students can create bookmarks within here as well. So the videos, talking presentations, anything. So let's have a little bit of fun. I'm going to get your hands on this now. And what you're going to see me do is I'm going to open this up, and this is a collaboration document. It's built in a presentation slide. What I have here is there's an intro page. When I send this link to you, we're going to see everybody's circles up here at the top. And then I'll ask you to toggle to the orange page. This page says we have gratitude for. Once you get to this page, I'd like you to play with any 3 of these buttons that you'd like. So the elements you can add, so if there's something that you have gratitude for, maybe it's pancakes, I don't know. You could add those to this. You could also choose to go down to your uploads and try to upload a file. Or you can always choose to add text and just type in what you have gratitude for. So I'm going to come right here to my share button. So this is the first time I've done any demoing when it has to do with sharing. When we want to share a link, I'm going to come down, and if I copied this link right now and shared it with you, you would receive a notification that you don't have access. To change that, I need to go to anyone with the link, and I can choose view, comment, or edit. So we'll always want to make sure that we know what we're selecting so that we know who has editing rights. Alrighty. So go ahead and click the link that's in the chat. And this is where you can play and have a little fun and just get a feel for it. Are you guys able to access the link, or I'm wondering if there's any issues logging in?
So I'm wondering if it's because I'm already logged in and already had access to the link. Are you all able to get the link? Okay, that's interesting. I'm going to try to get in again.
I do have Robin, looks like she's in. I didn't hear what they said though. Like, oh, okay, Whitney, you're in.
Oh, I got in the second time.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just on Liz's slide. I just put in a picture of puppies. And to edit the image, I'm gonna go to I click on it first and I go to edit, and I can actually get rid of the background.
So if I'm not sure if I'm also projected in a screen in the room, but if you could see that too. So on Whitney's photo with the puppies, if she selects, and you can see where I'm clicking here, edit image, and hits that beach ball, which I'll let her do it, that will remove that background too. So I know some people are in here and on that first slide. So if you just click over to the next slide, you'll be able to access the next template.
Slide number 2.
Yeah, we just popped up on like our home. Oh, is it this thing on the left? No, wait. Like this. Go back to the Zoom and then click the link again. Yeah, that's how I got it with you. In the chat, there's a chat. Yeah, right. That's one. Yeah, again. You were in it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll go to and then you are, yeah. Everybody in. So then I'm going to play a search element and upload something that you might already have on your computer. I love the owl drinking coffee. Oh, wow.
Yep, it'll jump in front of the hole. And then you just resize it and move it off to the side. Yep.
So if you haven't used Canva before, this is a good opportunity for you to just click on some of the tabs and test some of these features out. I would also encourage that you grab a photo too and try that background remover, because it's one that's typically used quite a bit. And if you put something over somebody else's, just move it to the side.
Working on it.
Yeah, it takes a second just to kind of move things. But test out the background remover. It's a great one too, because again, anytime we get our hands on it and can test it, helps us to learn.
Where's the background remover again?
So if you click on the image that you want to remove the background to, and then you go to edit image. Kind of always have to tell it.
No, I see it in the top corner.
Yeah, like which image you want to do what with first.
Yeah, the top toolbar will always adjust based on whatever you click. So as long as you click that photo, you'll have the option to edit the image. And of course, not only can you remove the background, but they do have other things. They even have like a little auto enhancer. You've got different filters, you've got shadows. I mean, there's so many things that Canva can do, but in an intro session, we don't hit on every little feature because we would need hours. So this is more of an introduction. Okay, we're going to move back into the presentation. You can leave this tab open that you have because we will return to it. We have a couple more activities in here that we'll return to. But for right now, I'm going to jump back into the presentation. Okay, before we go any further in our Canva, a couple things that I'm going to have you guys do. I'm actually going to skip ahead to a little part and we'll return. So while right now we're talking about the editor, if you can see on my screen right here, can you guys see right here where it has the 3 dots more on the left toolbar? Hopefully you guys can see that okay. Okay, so under your 3 dots more, typically this isn't something I hit on a lot in an intro session, but there's a couple things that I do want you to just add to that side toolbar so that everything is accessible. So a couple things, when we click that more, and I'm just gonna actually go to mine, if you check out my sidebar, there's a lot of different things on it because I've added to it. One thing I'd like to take time doing is if we click our 3 dots more, I would like you to add a couple things to your toolbar and a couple things that we can add. I'm not going to have them on mine so much, but if you type in here and you search for background, see mine's already added. So it doesn't always work as lovely. But if you wanted to on your sidebar add some features such as the background or styles. So if you see here on my toolbar, I have my background option here. So these are some things that you can choose to add in just so that you have them, or your audio. So just if you wanted to add them in, you can add them to your sidebar. That may be something too you'll want to circle back on at another point. But a lot of times it's just nice to add to your toolbar. A lot of times when we start in a Canva and it's a brand new account, it'll have templates, elements, uploads, text, and then under that will be your 3 dots more. But if you notice on my sidebar, I have added the option for audio, backgrounds, charts, a QR code. So I just have all those tabs handy. So you are welcome to add or not add whatever you'd like to your sidebar. Just know that anytime you add something, it will appear. And then if you wanted to click off of it to clean your toolbar up, you can always just click out of that. So just a couple things there. Okay, we're going to dive back into the presentation. And I do want to double check for any questions. I think we're good right now. Okay, so when we're thinking of using Canva in the classroom, we're just going to hit on a few workflow options. Workflow 1 is that we can have teachers to students as a resource. You guys already do a lot of these workflows. So as the teacher, you can create an instructional resource and you can share it with a student. So that might be a talking presentation. Perhaps you're giving them a mini math tutorial so that they can take it home as a resource and remember what they're learning in math. Or it could even be a poster or anchor chart. The second workflow option we have is that there can be teacher-created templates given individually to students. If you share a template link in Canva, that template link will force a copy for each individual student. So I'm going to just hit on that real quick. If I come here right here and I go down to my more option, I'm going to see an option for template link. See, now I have an option to copy that. And when I paste this into my browser, what's going to happen is you can see now I've created a template. It's actually the whole slide deck became a template. And if I were to share this with my colleagues and if they clicked use template or with students, whoever I was sharing it with, this would become their own copy. It wouldn't change any of your design. It would just only adjust what they're modifying. So this is a great way to essentially force a copy to each individual student, and then they can submit work back that way. Some examples, you might have a sorting activity or even a lab report with embedded media. Our third workflow option we have is that teachers can create collaborative activities like I did. You saw how I clicked share with everyone and then I chose edit so everybody could edit. You may be interested in doing a class brainstorm or even a small team brainstorm or a jigsaw activity. We also have the workflow option number 4, which is my favorite. And that's really when we've built up our class culture and students have more autonomy. And it's really where we're giving the parameters as teachers or guidance, but ultimately students are choosing how to demonstrate their learning. That might be like in a mobile video creation, presentation, or infographic. But really we're saying now, this is your project. It's going to be either a summative unit project, or maybe it's a show what you know, but students are choosing how they want to demonstrate their learning. So let's return to our collaboration document. And in here, if you double click on any of the text here, you can add your ideas for student created projects, but it might even be a project that you're thinking of doing as a teacher. Maybe you're thinking of workflow 1, 2, 3, or 4. We did a lot of project-based learning when I was an elementary teacher, and we created so many videos. We would do like newscasts. We did a project each year. One, it was called the Human Footprint, and it incorporated reduce, reuse, recycle. At the end of that, kids got to choose whether they did a presentation or a video. And it's amazing how many kids would do, or even like they would do like a little commercial to raise awareness, like an advocacy video. So it was amazing how creative. And I loved it because not one project looked exactly like the other. They all shared their information and their findings, but it all was different. So that was really neat. So that you guys know, in Canva, just like we removed the background from an image, you can also remove the background from videos. So it makes me think about that in terms of if you're talking about third grade wacky weather, we've got hurricanes, blizzards, all types of weather, if that's the direction you go in with your science. But I think about that in terms of you could have a video here in Canva that shows a hurricane or a video. You could have that as your background. And if you then took a video, the students did a video of themselves talking or sharing or acting like a weather person, they could remove the background so it doesn't look like, the cement wall in a school or the playground that might be behind them, but they could be overlaid on top of the hurricane. So be thinking about that, like how creative you can have these student projects be. I'll give you just a little bit. I'll actually show you guys something real quick in my Canva, because it kind of gives a good example. I was playing with some of the video features just the other day myself. Let's see if we're gonna, here it is. So I was playing with some videos that we had of our dogs because I just wanted to see how this would work. So what I did is I have a video of a pool float, and then these are each individual videos of our dogs. Now, Chloe's was kind of cut off funny. So what I did was I moved her next to Nala, tried to make it as proportional as I could. And I then found an image of a beach towel and removed the background just so that, my dog didn't look weird, like just cut off like that. So I tried to arrange that the best I could, just to kind of cover some things up. And then I added my own audio in here. I could have put transitions. This doesn't play perfectly in Canva, but I will say, so what happened is I do have like a video over 2 videos over a video. When I downloaded this as an MP4, it played smoothly. So I'm thinking it may be my internet that it wasn't allowing this to play, but I'll just show you what that looks like real quick. I don't know why Chloe didn't hear it. So you can see it's a little bit clunky when I play it in here, but download it as a file, it was fine. But think about that too, when you're creating those student projects, could they be putting something together? Could you bring in a background, and could the students be having a video like that? So those are some really cool project ideas to really bring your learning to life. So I know we were hitting a little bit on some of the options on what you can add to your sidebar. That's something I'm going to allow you to just kind of make sure that you take time to explore. We do offer a second session called Creating and Customizing Materials in Canva, where we dig into the apps and more in Canva. At the intro session, we usually just hit those four, the basics of the homepage and the first 4 tabs here. So we hit on today, templates, elements, uploads, and text. If you select this more, if you wanted to add the character builder, you can see here, this is like a little demo. You can select anything and then it will now appear on your sidebar. So you can add as many new tabs to your Canva as you'd like. And you can always X out of those tabs as well. There's also in Canva a video editor. This is a great option if you're creating videos. I kind of showed you a little bit of that in the silly pool party one that I was just playing around with. But this is the easiest video editor I've ever used. And I love that everything is here for you and students already, from graphics to shapes to the frames so that videos can go right in there. It really makes the work that your students are doing look professional. It makes it look like they're something that they're really proud of. You can add music in here as well. And then of course there is a draw tool. It works best with a stylus, but I've also used it with the touchpad of my laptop and my mouse. So this is great for any annotation as well. This has been used too, where students have taken pictures of a passage that they've read and then highlighted where they found the theme and added any emojis that connect to the theme and how it might make them feel. So just some ways to incorporate book snaps into the classroom. And as a teacher, if you're looking to use Canva to present any information in your classroom, if you see it here at the bottom of my screen, I do have the option here. I got a little keyboard. So if you can see where my mouse is, and these magic shortcuts will allow you to put a timer up. Now these are available in present mode. So I have to hit present and be in a presentation. And then I have access to all of these. So you can see the confetti will come from all different ways. Or for those really exciting mic drop moments in the classroom. And of course, that timer is always handy too. Okay, so let's shift on to our reflection right now. And what I'm going to do before you add anything to this page on a reflection for takeaways, I'm actually going to bump this to a whiteboard. So by selecting this, I'm going to expand to whiteboard. It now says you can enjoy all the space. You see on my screen, I can zoom out, I can zoom in. There's a little scroll bar at the bottom that you can use to go in or out. And now, if I delete the coffee in my search bar and I click elements, you'll see that I have a bank of sticky notes, lines and shapes, and even whiteboard graphics. So I do have some things down here. You'd have to select to duplicate those to use. So I would recommend, I'm going to add some sticky notes here. When you click one, if you notice, it'll land right to the center. So as soon as you click one, you just want to move it to the side. I'm also going to generate some sticky notes just so that they are accessible for you too. And if you double click in the sticky note, you'll be able to add your thoughts. So let's reflect on just one of these here. I can't seem to move my sticky note at the moment. There we go. If you want to use one of the sticky notes that are here on the side, you can also hit the plus sign. It will just auto-generate more sticky notes. So I do see a question kind of developing in here about personal accounts. So there is not a way to merge any accounts, unfortunately, not at this time. So it's not to say that it will not be down the road. So sometimes we have come in to find that people had used their school email address to set up for either an educator account or a personal account. So if you did that, you might see from your Canva homepage, you might see that you have more than one team. So you might have to toggle between the two. That can happen. So you can see here, like I have some other teams that I could toggle to. The only way, you can't merge an entire account, but you can copy designs from one account to another. So along with our resources, I can include that as a resource too. You'll get all the pro features for free in your Canva for Education account. But ideally, you want to work in your Canva for District Education account and try to move things over. And I've always kept two accounts. Like I do have my personal, because I have a business, I keep my pro account with all my business related materials. So some people do opt to have their outside of school personal account. And then some people just want to take full advantage of Canva for Education. Going back to adding students to a class, we really aren't adding students in here to Canva. Your students are rostered. They're in your Canvas Learning Management System account. Clever does have an integration with Canva, though. There is an integration with Clever and Canva. So if there's an issue with the Canva Clever integration, we will want to loop in your district education advocate. So Whitney, if there's anything pertaining to that, keep me posted because we can loop in your DEA and just make sure that everything's running smoothly.
Yeah.
So I can see, like, if I want to see which students are saying what on some of the sticky notes, I can totally see initials, and some of them I did not.
Liz, one of the questions in here was that we can see the initials of some of the other folks in here on some of the sticky notes, but we can't see initials on some of the sticky notes, the other ones.
Right. So what happens is that it'll depend on, like, you'll see, like if I click on this, I can see Denise's whole name, but depending on where it moves, it'll be the initials. As soon as somebody clicks off of it, the initials will not be there. So the only time you'll know who's writing something or adding something is when they're actively on it. So later on, if you had something there, you might not know unless you had students type their name in first. So I have had people do that. I've also seen teachers populate their own sticky notes and put a student's name on each if they wanted to. And then kids would move their own sticky notes over. So that's just the way that it's been developed.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Liz, for sharing designs from one account to another, would it just be, I mean, or copying, would it just be easiest to share?
You could share. I mean, you could definitely do that. What they typically do is
you dump everything like all in one folder and then share the folder.
You might be able to. So if you shared that folder with yourself, everything would be in the folder. What you'd probably want to do though, so what I would advise, that's actually a really good idea, but I think what I would advise still is duplicating things so they become your own, because let's say your own personal account, for whatever reason that was gone, then you might lose access even though you'd shared, possibly. I'd have to think on that one.
Okay.
And then I do see Allison has a question in the chat. How can other educators in different districts get an educator account if they are not linked through their district? So Canva does have an option where individual teachers, if they're some districts, we're very backlogged at Canva. We have so many districts that we've been onboarding. And so there is an option that educators can be verified through their individual education email address. So that's one option that they can use Canva in that way. But typically what happens is that they might do that, and then down the road, eventually they'll get Canva for districts. That gives you the single sign-on. It allows you to have all your brand templates, and you have much more functionality than you would in that individual account. If though anybody here today has any product, like, and I will also, that will be included as well. If there are ever any product feedback that you guys have, if you want it to work a certain way or you want it to do anything different, that product feedback is always well received from Canva. They want to hear from you. They are always making updates and adjustments. I know that one of the biggest things that comes up a lot is about creating classes and groups and sharing. So if you have feedback on that and what you'd like to see, that's a great one for you to share. So I'm just going to close out with our presentation here. Oh, my slides I don't know what's going on. You can see on my slides right now, I think something happened. I must have been trying to zoom in too much. See if I can get back to normal. There we go. So one handy thing too is it bumped me back to the beginning of my presentation, but it's okay. One thing that you can do when you come down to the bottom is you can see I've got my slide deck all along this at the bottom. But if I select my grid view, you can see I have access to all my slides. I can always readjust to them by simply dragging and dropping, but I can also just scroll back to where I left off and pick up. All right. So I didn't have to scroll all the way down that toggle bar. All right, so I really appreciate your time today. I appreciate the questions. Anything else you guys have that comes to mind, please feel free to forward that along to me. We do offer additional sessions such as creating and customizing material. It's a little bit more workshop-like. We do go into more of the apps and integrations. And then we also offer a session on getting your students started, in addition to deep dives on video creation and more. Linked here in this deck, you will have access to all the Canva tutorials. So everything is linked here for you. So you'll have lots of mini tutorials that will guide you on your way too. So if we don't have tons of opportunities for these type of sessions, just know that there are tons of online resources for you. We also have a Facebook teachers community. In the teachers Facebook community, Mel is our community manager. She's really fantastic. She's always sharing out new updates that you might be able to want to check out. Sometimes there's different challenges that people can win a $25 print code. And you'll also see that other teachers will share resources of what they've created. People will ask questions and respond to one another too. So it's just a great community. And of course, we do have our districts hub. So anything pertaining to your learning management, PD resources, questions, videos, and more will be linked. And then of course, we also have linked here our feedback form. So please feel free to scan and provide feedback or click the link. And that's it for our session today.